Hi, Lauren.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. So, what brings you in today?
So I have been feeling a lot of stress recently, really over the top. I've always been somewhat anxious, but it's been really a level of anxiety just that I'm at constantly that is not manageable for me right now. And I'm in grad school and also working, and I am an intern as part of my education. So I am just really busy and feeling overwhelmed with all of that.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah.
Would you say that the anxiety that you're experiencing, would you say that it's very general, or do you think it's focused more on a specific element of your life?
Um, I mean, I think I have a little bit of anxiety just about lots of things, but I would say that this overwhelming sense of anxiety that I feel that's kind of new to me is something that is really about school and about like balancing everything that I have on my plate.
Okay, so school and balancing everything on your plate is really what's causing you to feel these intense emotions of anxiety. Would you say that's right?
Yeah, yeah, I think like my first year of school was okay, a little bit easier. I feel like I managed it really well. And then my second year of school, when we added an internship onto the workload, I really just felt so overwhelmed the whole time. And then I like had a little summer, and now we're back, and um, it's again feeling really overwhelming.
Yeah, it sounds like it's so much to balance right now. Um,
Yeah.
do you think that do you think it's in general school, or do you think there's maybe a specific thing about school that made it so intense for you between last year and this year?
It's just more work with the schoolwork and with the internship hours than I was maybe expecting. And so when that started, the internship as well last year, I think I was so flustered and like frustrated by the amount of time that I was having to spend on everything, and frustrated that I couldn't give other things in my life more attention.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's a lot of just balancing everything, the workload. Would you say that that's probably the main stressor that you're experiencing right now?
Yeah. Yeah, just yeah, the workload in school and the internship.
Okay. Are there any other emotions that come with the stress? Like I know you said frustrated, stressed, anxious. Is there anything else that accompanies it?
Yeah, I think sometimes I feel a sense of guilt for not being able to give my family and my friends more of myself and more of my time and my attention. And so I think that there's also a sense of guilt in there. And when I have to say no to something or cancel something, I really don't like having to do that. But I am having to do that more often because of having too much on my plate.
Yeah, that sounds so frustrating, and I apologize that you're going through that right now. I do want
Thanks.
you to know that this is temporary, right? So you will eventually graduate and this will eventually end. So it's just a matter of getting through this time because it is a very challenging time. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, definitely. So you said that there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of anxiety, stress, frustration, and it's just a lot to juggle all of these things. Um, would you say that there's any underlying beliefs that make it harder for you to cope with anxiety?
Yeah, I guess I have this belief that I have to do everything. When someone asks me to do something, I have to do it. That when an opportunity arises, I have to do it. That anything that is almost presented to me, almost I feel like I have to do it, and I have to not just do it, but do it really well.
Yeah.
give it my all.
Yeah, so it's like that sense of like, okay, I have to do everything that's given to me and I have to be perfect. I have to do it all to the best of my ability. Do you
Yeah, and yeah, it's like I won't have I want to give 100% of myself to everything, but you can't.
Yeah.
That's just not, yeah, not possible.
Yeah, you're a human. You're not a machine. So we can't, it's hard for us to function at 100% all the time. Would you Can you see how that underlying belief, right, of feeling like I have to be perfect all the time, can you see how maybe that belief might be fueling the anxiety?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can. I think that it's true that it is fueling the anxiety, but it's really hard to let go of because I think it's something that I've had in me for a really long time.
Yeah. It might be something that's a little harder for you to shake, right? But
Yeah.
maybe if we can find another belief that you have, or maybe another like motivator to rewrite that belief with, we can almost turn that negative underlying belief into like a more positive belief that's going to help you be able to adapt to the anxiety a little better. Um, is there any beliefs that you feel like would be more positive that you would also associate with school?
Um, well, I like what you said about it being temporary because it's like even though I can't give 100% of myself to everything right now, if I just give enough of myself to school to get through it and get it done, it is temporary and it will end. So if maybe I can find a belief kind of in there that will help me to combat that sense where they need to be perfect.
Yeah. So maybe every time you're having that thought of like, okay, I need to be perfect, I need to do all of this like right now, and you're really in that moment of like, I'm struggling, juggling all of these things. Instead, you can almost like stop yourself and say, wait, this is temporary. I'm almost done. I'm gonna be graduated here pretty soon. And that's a very empowering feeling because you're almost there and you've gotten this far. So,
Yeah.
yeah. How do you feel about changing your belief in that way?
I would like to change my belief in that way. I think that there's still just a little bit of that perfectionism that's instilled in me to a degree, but that if I can at least shift my thinking, be more aware of it, and shift my thinking on in that at least it'll give me some relief in those moments where I feel really overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I do the more that you practice it, the more that you remind yourself of those things and practice pausing and giving yourself those reminders, the easier it will be and maybe the less that the perfectionism will come out, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
like it'll start to become more natural, more automatic.
yeah, more natural. Did you find having like doing this little exercise of finding different beliefs to replace beliefs with, did you find that helpful for you?
Yeah, that is helpful for me because I think like I definitely have to do this for myself to a degree sometimes. Otherwise, my anxiety would always be like at maximum. But I think having like a plan for a specific thought and something else that I can use to counter that is really helpful.
Yeah. Do you think you have more than just one belief that might be negative that's fueling your anxiety?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Would you want to try and find another one and then see if we can rewrite it together?
Sure.
Okay. So let's try to explore another underlying belief that we think might be dysfunctional, that might be contributing to our anxiety.
Okay.
What is another belief that you have that's making you feel like I have to be perfect. I have to be anxious about school.
I guess I guess that I have this idea that something bad will happen. I don't know exactly what, and it could be all sorts of things, like not passing the program, having to restart it, not going through it at all in the long run, especially when I've come this far. Um, like lots of those sorts of fears um, that I'm building up. And I guess I don't know exactly what the belief would be, but just that something bad is going to happen if I don't like get everything done now.
Yeah. So that underlying fear of like, oh my gosh, I have to do all of these things. Am I going to succeed? Am I going to do all of it to, you know, good enough so that I can pass? Yeah, those are all dysfunctional beliefs that can really contribute to the anxiety that we're feeling. What are some beliefs that we can replace those with?
I think maybe reminding myself that I'm a hard worker. I'm not going to let myself fail.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that that's a really good one to remind yourself of that you're made for this. You're a hard worker. You know,
Yeah.
you're really passionate about doing what you're doing and you're going to do great in it. So, yeah, I want to commend you because rewriting all these beliefs with me today was really powerful. It was very empowering to watch you rewrite these beliefs, and it almost kind of like I could sense like a shift in the way that you were feeling about them too.
Yeah.
So I just want to commend you for that. Um,
Thanks.
how are you feeling about everything?
Yeah, I feel like just a little bit lighter. I think it's really true that like some of these thoughts that I'm having or these beliefs that I have are are not necessarily the truth. You know, they're a belief, but they're not the truth. So it's good for me to combat that with some things that are actually true.
Yeah. Well, and this is something too that we could always do in future sessions is we can continue to try and identify these thoughts that might be more negative and then try to rewrite them as we go as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to thank you for coming in today and we will get you scheduled for a session next week.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. Have a good night.
You too.